Hello everyone, Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street. Hope you're doing fantastically well wherever you are in the world. One day I'll get this lighting correct. I look all over the place at the moment, I don't really care. So let's go into this one, Multivac, on our radar today. We are going to quickly look at a couple of pointers here on Multivac. My point being here at the moment is that we've had a lot of comments in the last few videos, particularly I think the one we did about 5 days ago. People getting maybe a bit irate that nothing seems to be happening with the token. I'm sort of questioning that about well, what do you want them to do about the price? The token is there as an opportunity for us to invest, right? And of course, things help towards the price movements up and down. But I want to reiterate a few points again that have happened with MTV in the last sort of, I would say 30 to 40 days. Still arguably a short space of time. We've of course had the CEO change towards the end of December. Now, those that work in business at a top level or have the mindset to think about that's quite a difficult thing to restructure, to organize. There's no doubt in my mind, and I said this point a while back that I'm sure it's something that they would have planned for some time, not just gone, oh, by the way, I'm leaving, see you later. I think at a top level, they would have known that. Whether that was distributed down to the rest of the team, no one will know. Maybe some information will come out at some point. But for sure, since then, what I really liked about the structure at the moment, Frank has come out and spoken to the public. If you remember the article we covered a few weeks back, and I'm quite pleased with that because it needed it. It really needed that top level communication, particularly from himself as well, to identify what's occurring basically. And I think that's great from any business, especially when there's investors, even if it's retail investors like us, for example. So I'm really pleased that came out and it gave a bit more structure, a bit more confidence in it. And actually, from that point, when we go into the chart, you see the reaction of that in an upward trend as well. But we were promised the roadmap towards the end of January or indeed early February. We're closing in on the middle of February now, so hopefully that's not too far off. Again, projects do constantly change. I work in this space as well, and I totally appreciate this kind of changing pattern every day, right? It depends on markets, it depends on confidence and this, that, and the other. It could be determined by things on the roadmap. Actually, we need to change a few things because the last thing we want to do is release something and everything's all over the place again, soon after. So totally get that principle. But it would be nice to see if they can give us a bit more of an indication of when roughly this roadmap will come out, because I think that'll put a lot of doubters to bed. I appreciate many of you have been in early and expecting bigger things, and maybe we look at the rest of the market. The market came down quite significantly, to be honest, across the board. It's not just MTV, so it was kind of a natural process anyway. I just think it tore down a bit more for MTV, maybe a bit lower than we thought we would have hoped it would be, but we're here, and it brings opportunity. I've said it in previous videos. I've been accumulating MTV at these crazy prices, the low prices that we've seen, and I will continue to do so. We'll go into the chart in a second, but one point that was made, actually, to be fair, that I agree with, some people were saying when we were looking at the comments the other day, people were saying MTV is just focusing on these platforms that tell you what kind of position you are as a token, and the top tokens of today, this kind of thing. It's just maybe filling gaps. And I kind of thought, well, actually, yeah, that kind of makes sense, to be honest. It's almost like maybe the content's running dry. There's a couple of pointers here about the partnerships with Relay, which we'll probably do a video on next week, actually. I think it's quite cool. Partnerships that they're working with, an MTV swap that was announced the other day as well. But yeah, in general, I just feel like the people want answers, right? They want to see what's coming for 2022 to go, shall I put a load more money in right now or just wait? And I think that's what's happening right now in this instance. So I do agree with that. I totally understand people's frustrations on that side of things. Let us know in the comments below how you're feeling about MTV right now. I always read the comments, always reply, albeit YouTube's been messing about recently. I had to literally sit there this morning when I first woke up, because I'm weird, and literally sat through like 200 comments. And I thought, I have to stick with my word and reply to every single one of them. So we do reply to them, we do read them all, and it helps us with the videos as well, little topic points, and to bring out what you guys want us to focus on in feedback and everything. So do let us know that. But let's have a look at the chart, guys. Do also make sure that you smash that like button if you like what you hear and see, and do subscribe if you've not done so already. We always have loads of different videos, loads of different topics, so hopefully you're enjoying all of those as we go along. But here we are, guys. MTV floating around just under 1 cent right now. So I'm just going to flick across to my screen here, get rid of these because it's going crazy. Right, where we are in the chart right now. I was buying a load of MTV down here, as you know from my previous videos. Very much enjoyed this sideways trading, and I very much enjoyed being able to buy MTV on these low points. As I mentioned in previous videos, I was buying MTV probably around like 1.7 cents or something. Had a nice tail up. I didn't really sell any or anything like that. I've just been trying to accumulate as much as possible. We've had this pretty much a 3 month relay down to a bottom line. We covered that in the previous couple of videos. Not going to go into too much detail of that right now, but do go check those out if you want to. I'm going to be focusing purely on what am I going to be doing with MTV like right now. So I was buying down here. I watched the uptake, and I knew that we would find resistance to this area. There's no doubt in my mind about it. It also reflects on very nice patterns here in August, and certainly something that we tried to mess about with here in May last year as well. So it's very much, in my opinion, focusing on this point actually we just made, is that there's very limited points of support and resistance that we can really sort of nail down, particularly on the long term. So in a short term period, I mean, look at this across the board, we've only actually had like 4 points to test. Okay, so there's no doubt in my mind when I saw this that it was going to tail off back here. We'll have a bit of a dip down. I wasn't expecting such a big drop down, but one of the points I want to make about this is, and I've mentioned it in many videos before, is the leveraging that goes on in the markets, right? Not just with MTV, but across the board, especially Bitcoin, which usually starts it all off. Now today, this is a similar pattern we're going to see in many of the videos today, is this big drop off. And I was looking at KuCoin's losers section, and lo and behold, as always, the same thing happens every time. We're starting to see the 3 times longs come in as fails. This means that people have been long leveraging probably around these regions, thinking we're going to get to a specific point. It's fallen short. I would not be surprised if a lot of the longs were, for MTV in instance, but use this perspective in other ones as well, that one of the key level resistances they haven't hit, and it's just fallen short, like we see here on MTV's one, and it's obviously failed, kicked in, and that's when the failures come in and it brings everything down. You're talking about big volumes. It's basically like betting, really. Something I would never do, albeit you could say that this is kind of guesswork as well, almost to that extent. But leveraging is forcefully thinking that you feel it's going to get to a certain price and backing that with a betting mentality. So that's failing. That's why we've got this drop down here. What's going to be interesting is, are we going to find a resistance back on the way down at literally pretty much bang on 0.009, so just under 1 cent. But in my honest feeling, and I'm going to be dollar cost averaging down on this, by the way, I have literally bought a bag of MTV right now. Not huge, because I have an anticipation that we're now obviously reflecting these periods that we saw back here in December. We floated through 2-3 occasions, not enough in my opinion to certify that as a decent area of support, and we're looking back, way back, August last year. Since then, absolutely nothing. It's no man's land, right? So this is my first point. My second point is going to be where we see just about the little dips under this little green fib retracement line here. It isn't massive, guys. Like we're literally, the low point we've had today is 0.0093. Okay, so I'm talking about, I've got my little bag just now. I want to get one bang on just under 9 cents. Under a ninth of a cent, 0.008. I'd probably go 87 actually. I like that number. That then really tails us off to the bottom areas that we hit previously, and also a reflected period on one of the big leverage failures that we saw on the 4th of December. Now, if we get a repeat of this move where just things are continuously bringing down, we might get a significant drop back down to test these higher regions that we saw on the sideways trading back here towards the end of January and beginning of February. So I will be putting 2 positions here. I'll get my wonderful box out to show those. So I'm very much looking around about, I've already got one bag, as I said just now, openly admitted that maybe we'll support that and bring it up. Fair enough. I will make money off that. Fantastic. But I'm going to put one at around 8 points. I was about to say 8.7 cents again. 0.0087. And probably just around here, so slightly under the bottom fib retracement on the macro level here, but I'm really focusing in on these top levels that we saw on the support on the sideways trading, as we mentioned just a minute ago. So you can see on the right hand side here, it's in nice blue. Those are my 2 buying positions. Yes, there's probably a bit too much of a big gap there, but I'd be happy with those 2 positions. If we swing back round on either of those or just before those, fine. I've got loads of MTV back here and I'm looking back here. So that's what I'm doing. I'm, price prediction wise for the rest of this year, if we do hit the bull run eventually, I still believe that we can at least see a 20-cent MTV. But let us know what you think about that in the comments. Let us know what your price predictions are for 2022 as well, and the hopeful bull run, whenever that may be. Who knows what's going to happen with all the narratives, crazy narratives around the world, keep changing every week. Mental. But those are my positions. I may actually, to be fair, put a middle one in. So if you can imagine a middle one, but probably around 7.9, just to hit that around about that 8 cent, 0.008 cent mark. So we'll see how that plans out. So I will probably put a third one in the middle, bang on there. Let us know what you're doing with your MTV. Let's look at the indicators here before we go on to the MACD and the RSI. So 21% up on the week. Fantastic. But actually, I'm going to put it up now because this point is very relevant across the board on many market charts right now. We had these lower regions of RSI on the sideways trading, which I was really enjoying, as you know. But you can see here, for some reason, still my 90 days stuck down here. I can't move it back up. But on the 14 and 28 day, very reasonable prices for me to be entering, and I did so. I haven't sold any up here, albeit I probably should have, based on the 14 day. I mean, going from, it's not even really on a 14 day, actually, it's probably less. Going from a 37 or indeed a 36 up to a 70 is a very nice, respectable position. That's why I like to use those RSIs. But I haven't done anything with that, just purely because I'm trying to not mess this up and get as much MTV as possible. When we get to higher regions, maybe like 3, 4, 5 cents eventually, hopefully, then I will probably start looking at that in more detail and probably more focused on the 28 day and certainly the 90 day rather than the 14 day. I'm not looking for quick moves on MTV personally other than buying. So this tail up is quite significant. If you look at the crossover here on the MACD, what I'm referring to is the orange and blue here, preceding this over purchasing element. We had the MACD switch over on the 31st, indicating a positive bull momentum, not fully a bull run, but a bull momentum. But this is quite steep in my opinion. It's not quite a narrowed enough gap between the blue and orange here, indicating the MACD levels that we have here, 1226. So this is why I was sort of anticipating that we would probably come down at some point. I wasn't expecting such a big drop as we've seen today, but that, like I said, is coordinated with other things going on in other markets. And this was equally an indicator to me to say, okay, I'm not going to go buying in FOMO or anything like this. I'm going to wait. And I think this is going down. That's my honest opinion. I think it's coming down. Well, it obviously has been coming down now, but I feel like we might gradually pull this back a bit further down. We'll get some more pale greens coming in. I don't anticipate an overselling mass. I think it will be very similar to this again. And this is where I think it will probably pull us down potentially to the areas that we mentioned down here. So this being one of the top levels, first of all, and I do generally feel that we could come back down to these levels with a new higher low, which is very important as well to indicate a nice bull momentum moving forwards. But also structuring and confirming another support line. Like I said, very much lack of data points along this area at the lower regions. So I that's why I anticipate it. So looking at those indicators, looking at the performances, this is why I'm thinking it. It's now on a neutral on the technicals on the right hand side here as well. Very much people are waiting. I think people are just waiting. I've got loads of USDT ready for a number of projects. I'm seeing them come down and I'm like rubbing my hands ready. Let us know what you're doing. But guys, that very much wraps up MTV. That's what I think is going to happen. That's what I'm doing, at least. If it goes up, we're in a win-win, because I've already bought them at the lower points anyway. I bought a nice little bag just now. If it comes in at those lower regions, I will be absolutely loving life. But do let us know what you're doing. We're going to wrap that up there. Loads of videos to try and do with lack of time always. So thank you so much for watching, and we will definitely see you in the next MTV video. Thank you, and bye-bye.